Okay, so deep in the forests of Patagonia, there's this biological clock, and it only ticks once every 70 years. Well, it just went off, and when it did, it triggered a massive scientific hunt for, of all things, a living ghost, a creature that really shouldn't even exist on this continent. This is the story of how they found it.
So let's start with that question, because it's the key to this whole story. I mean, what does happen? Imagine an entire ecosystem just thrown into overdrive by something that happens less than once in a human lifetime. It sounds like science fiction, right? But this is the real-life stage for an absolutely extraordinary scientific discovery.
And here's how that grand cycle played out. It all kicked off back in 2012 in Argentina's Los Alerces National Park. The native bamboo all decided to flower at once, produced this enormous feast of seeds, and then it just died off. So by 2013, that feast fueled what's called a rodent irruption. Basically, the rodent population just exploded. And then in 2014, right in the middle of all that chaos, the scientific hunt began.
So let's dig into this a little more, starting with the sheer drama of that 70-year bloom. You have to understand, this wasn't just some pretty flowers popping up. This was a complete radical transformation of the entire forest.
The scale of this is it's staggering. A 600% increase in rodents. Can you even picture that? The forest floor was literally teeming with life. And that changed everything. Predator populations, like owls, they boomed. The competition for food and shelter became incredibly fierce. It created this really hostile environment for any other small animal just trying to get by.
So, how does a rodent explosion lead to a mystery? Well, in the middle of all that chaos, a team of researchers saw a really unique opportunity. See, they weren't interested in the rodents. They were hunting for something much, much rarer. They were hunting a living fossil.
And this is it, the Dromiciops gliroides. Locals call it the Monito del monte, which means little monkey of the mountain. It's this tiny, tree-dwelling marsupial, about the size of a mouse, with these huge, dark eyes and a prehensile tail. It's an incredibly secretive animal, and while people thought it might exist in the park, it had never, ever been officially documented alive there.
And what makes this little guy so incredible is just how unique it is. It is the only living survivor of an entire ancient order of mammals. I mean, think about that for a second. Its closest living relatives aren't here in the Americas. They're all the way over in Australia. It's basically a tiny kangaroo cousin, making it a true living fossil, a biological ghost from when the continents were all connected. And it's not just a cool fact, it's a vital part of the ecosystem, a seed disperser. Its threatened status is a danger to the whole forest.
So, this was the setup, right? The scientists had to find a ghost in a forest that had been turned completely upside down. They were like ecological detectives, walking onto a chaotic scene looking for its most elusive inhabitant. And just to give you a sense of the effort this took, look at this number, 778. That stands for trap nights. That means for every single trap they set out for one night, that counts as one. They did this almost 800 times, carefully placing traps on branches in the pitch dark, just hoping to catch a single glimpse of this tiny creature. And after all of that painstaking work, they caught just 4. 4. That's a capture rate of less than 1%. It just goes to show you how incredibly rare and hard to find this animal really is. But, you know what? Those 4 were enough. They changed everything. And this little table here shows you exactly why those 4 captures were such a big deal. Okay, so you see the 2 males, right? But now look at the 2 females. And then look all the way to that last column, pouch young. Yes, both females had babies in their pouches. This was the smoking gun. This proved it wasn't just a random straggler passing through. This was a breeding population. They had found a permanent home.
So what's the big scientific takeaway from all of this? I mean, what does this incredible find actually mean? Well, it's a lot more than just putting a new dot on a map.
This quote from the research paper really says it all. Unequivocal evidence. You know, in science, that is incredibly strong language. It means there's zero doubt. It's a done deal. All those old stories, all those anecdotal sightings, they were finally backed up by hard physical proof. They'd had officially found their ghost. So the bottom line is this. The known world for the Monito del Monte just got bigger. This discovery officially established a brand new southernmost population in Argentina. It literally redrew the map for a species that was already clinging to survival.
But, you know, this story doesn't have a simple, happy ending. It's really the beginning of a new chapter.
And that chapter comes with a really urgent question. Now that we've found this incredibly fragile population, can we actually protect it?
And the threats are coming from all sides. On the one hand, you've got natural predators, some native, like the owls, and some invasive, like the American mink. But then on the other hand, you have all these human-related pressures. Domestic cats and dogs wandering around, livestock eating the young trees the marsupials need for nests, and even just the impact of tourism.
What's really clear is that this is a whole cascade of threats. It's not just one single thing. You've got invasive predators actively hunting them, you've got livestock destroying their future homes before they can even grow, and you have human activity just squeezing their worlds smaller and smaller. This tiny, newfound population started its documented life already facing a massive uphill battle.
Which really leaves us with this final, powerful question. This remarkable little creature, this ghost of a lost continent, proved it could weather one of nature's most extreme and chaotic cycles. But the bigger test, that's yet to come. Can it survive us? The answer to that is a story that's still being written.